Welcome to the Sober Friends podcast. You're in the right place if you are just looking for some discussion of all the things that you're dealing with when you want to quit alcohol or live a great life after quitting alcohol. My name is Matt J. Steve is with me today, and I'll tell you, we think a serenity prayer, knowing the things that we can and can't control, knowing the difference, that's the hard part. Man, control can be hard. Knowing that if you could just have a good outcome, if I could just control it, that would be great. And knowing there really is a lot that we can't control. And I know this is this topic is near and dear to you. What does that mean to you?
It's something that I've been dealing with. First of all, good morning, Matt, and good morning out there in podcast land on this snowy New England day.
The snow seems
sitting
to never
here in my
stop.
office. What's that?
Snow never seems to stop this weekend.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I mean, I like this time of year. I like snow. So sitting here recording this as I'm watching the snow fall. Control has been something that's been coming up. First of all, I'm a big control guy. Like, I like to control outcomes. I like to control things. Mm-hmm. And so it's been something that's been coming up over the last, well, it's always been an issue, right? It's always been an issue. Mm-hmm. And my wife called me out on it, not in a bad way, really, the other day, a few days ago, just sort of mentioning it again, which is, right, again, it's something that, and what I said was that I get it. And I talk about it all over the place. It's one of the reasons why if you go to any meeting that I belong to, I'm involved in it, right? I'm doing stuff for that meeting. I'm now doing stuff for a district because I like to be involved and control and do things. Last night we just had a wonderful, I'm from a big family. On my dad's side, I have 32 first cousins, and we try to get together every once in a while, and we actually dialed something back, and just yesterday we all got together at a restaurant down in Waterbury here in Connecticut. And of course, it was like me and a couple of cousins who ran it, and I'm the one who did 90% of the legwork. And I said to my wife, I'm like, yeah, I realize I'm a control person, but I get shit done, right? I mean, that's part of it. Like, I get stuff done. So what happens is that people come to me looking to get stuff done, mm-hmm. and sort of feeds into that control. And again, so, and I've been really struggling with this. I really have been. And my wife and I had a conversation yesterday, and that was not as nice as the first conversation.
Right.
And I said to her, like, you know something, I get it. And I said, one of my frustrations in life, and so I said, one of my frustrations in life is that I think because I do certain things in life, and it goes across all things in my life, that there should be certain outcomes because of that. And what I shared on my Friday night men's meeting is that when I become outcome focused is when I'm in trouble. Instead of being journey focused, right? Really, instead of being, what am I doing? What's the process focus? When I get the outcome focused mindset, which happens to me on occasion, I get myself in trouble. I get myself out of sorts. I get upset. I get pissed off. I get resentful because the outcomes aren't happening the way I want them to happen. So, that's what's been gnawing at me. And, I've been challenged on this here at home, and I'm always challenged in the rooms by the guys who know me. And it's just one of those, I guess, character defects, right, that I struggle with, that even after 15 plus years in this program is something that I know I need to continue to work on. So I don't know. It's been on my mind, and when we were talking about topics, I'm like, hey, this is in the forefront of my mind. So let's talk about it.
Well, that's a pretty great share. Mm-hmm. There's a lot there. And I'm thinking about a bunch of different things. That one, how do you handle the control issues and trying to get to an outcome? But then I'm also thinking about the frustration of not getting there. which you're not going to get to exactly where you want to be with control, because you're dealing with other people and people are imperfect. And that frustration of things not going exactly the way you want it to go, that is where needing the outlet and drinking can come from. I can picture this almost like a root, both going forward and branching off all at the same time. And I think a lot about, you do need to, it's not an either or with, I can't be outcome based. There has to be a general outcome that you're looking for. But I think what is also good is thinking through, there could be multiple outcomes, multiple ways to get to that outcome, or that the outcome could branch off a little bit, and that might actually be better than what I'm thinking of. But then that causes you to have to get outside of self.
Right. Yeah, when I'm able to do that, again, and that's why, again, what I shared Friday night is like, when I'm able to be outside of that results person, like I'm really comfortable, I'm really satisfied with the journey and all those type of things. And that's what you're talking about, that branch that'll take me somewhere else. When I let that happen, I know that things work out better for me. Again, they work out better for me internally, not externally. Like, not saying like, oh, this is the outcome, and like just internally, I'm less stressed over that kind of stuff. And I'm better at that. I do that so much better today than I have. But, you know, I've talked about on this thing, I've been a caretaker for my wife for probably close to the last year. We're getting close to where she's becoming way more independent. But again, you know, it's some of that constant, right? Constant caretaking. Anybody out there who's a caretaker realizes that constant mental, physical, more mental than anything else. And again, I just believe, right? And simply put, I believe, well, because I've been doing this, I expect to be treated in a certain way, which is unrealistic, right? It's unrealistic. My wife's a human person too. She's not perfect. She has flaws. She has good days. She has bad days. So those expectations are perfect. And I will tell you this, like yesterday I was like, I wasn't thinking about drinking at all, but I was really out of sorts. I was really out of sorts. And if I'm not working the program, if I'm not at my Friday night meeting, back up a little bit. When we were talking, my wife and I were talking Friday during the morning, and I was talking about some stuff that's going on with my brother. And she said, you should go to therapy. And I'm like, I'm going to therapy tonight with like 20 other guys, right? Because that's what I look at some of my meetings. And so, you know, when I went, I lost my train of thought where I was going. But when I went to that meeting, I'm able to talk to those guys and work through some of that stuff. So yesterday, I was feeling like really, really anxious. And I was working hard to try to get that feeling. I wanted to make sure I went down to meet with my cousins and had a good time, which I knew I would, right? My wife, we were talking about having a good time, and I'm like, listen, I'm going to a place where I think there was 17 of us there. Cousins. There's more people, but 17 cousins and spouses and stuff like that. And I said, I'm going to where these people love me unconditionally, right? There's no downside to that, and I mean that honestly. Like we're very close cousins, and I'm like, these people love me unconditionally. So I knew once I got there, I'd be fine. But I'm going to tell you something. I was pretty anxious. I was pretty stressed out, and if I don't have a program, if I don't have my Friday night guys who I went to just before this day, I am walking down that path that's going to lead me to a drink. It's not going to, well, I shouldn't even say it's not going to lead me to a drink yesterday, because, you know, the normal people, they showed up at this event and went right to the bar. Right? Like we had some time while we were all getting together and everybody's showing up. Those normal people went right to the bar area, sat down, and started drinking, right? I saw that. And that's the kind of stuff that I have to be careful with, because not that so much that I'm going to try to walk up to that bar and get a drink, but it could irritate the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
So that I come home and I'm restless and discontented and irritable. Right? And because that used to happen to me a lot when I was on alcohol in these situations. I would come home, and for the next couple of days, I would be really, really irritable. And it took me a while to figure, like, oh, I get it, because I was just around a bunch of normal people who were drinking. And you know something? Even after 15 years, I want to drink like a normal person at times. So that's the scary part with me. Right? And this all comes back, right? And this is the whole thing. To bring it back, it all comes back to me trying to control some stuff that got me all upset in the first place. So it's a dangerous situation for alcoholics. And if anybody's out there, you know, if you're listening to this and you have some of these issues, you know what I'm talking about. I know there's a lot of people in the rooms who I talk to who share these same struggles. So it's dangerous for me, is what it is. It's dangerous. And it's, you know, so it's good. Friday night, I have the guys, right? Saturday, I go to this. Sunday morning, I get up, you and I tape, right? We talk about this all the time. We record this podcast. So boom, 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 I have an opportunity to put my stuff out there.
This is where having a program is really helpful. This is where having 12-step meetings are helpful. If you're way into 12-step meetings, even better. If you're not, and you just have a desire to quit drinking, you can just stop in and dump your shit. There's no rules against that. It is a place to do that. I also go to therapy. Therapy is very important to me. Man, you unloaded a lot here. A lot is about control. But I think everybody who has a desire to quit drinking or has stopped can identify with everything you said, because there's a cascading thing going on.
Right.
The thing I heard there is an unfairness. The normal people have an outlet, and I don't. Yeah. I have anxiety. They can go get a drink, and I can't. And now I'm resentful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I've gone from the control. It led to anxiety. I see people drinking. I'm realizing they have an outlet. I don't have the same outlet. They suck. F you.
Yeah, you know, and this is the point, right? That resentfulness, excuse me, is not always in the forefront of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, it's buried back in my mind. So I'm not standing there thinking I'm resentful. I'm standing there sort of irritated and pissed off because I'm resentful. That's not in the forefront of my mind, if you can understand that. Like, it's so buried deeply that, you know, something I still, you know, it says in our literature, it's the, I wish I could quote it, but it's the fantasy of every alcoholic to one day to be able to drink like a normal person, right? Yep. And I get a lot of people say, oh, I don't mind it. I don't miss it. I love my life. I all of that stuff I subscribe to too. I love my life. I don't miss it. I'll tell you, our buddy Timmy G was at the meeting. Yeah. Was at the meeting Friday night, and he said something. And again, it's one of those things that you hear when you go to meetings. And Timmy's like, you know, when he shares, he doesn't share a lot, but when he shares, it's always from the heart.
Yep.
And he said, he goes, I have a great life, right? I have a great life, and I love my life. No, he goes, I have a great life, and everything I have in my life is because of this program, AA. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and I still don't like it. Right? You could see Timmy's like, I'm still not happy about it.
Yep.
And that's the point. Like, I love my life. I love the opportunity. I love the fact that I was down with my cousins. I had my grandchildren last weekend. Like, all of that is good. But I'm still irritable at times, right? I'm still this alcoholic that has to work. And again, lots of things can trip me up. And I said, one of the things that's been on the forefront that I'm really working hard on, I'm not saying I'm working hard on it, but I really realized that I have to do some work on is this control issue. Is not so much trying to control, you know, I can control some stuff, but give up on the outcome a little bit, right? Give up. You know, right. Our buddy Jim A always says, you know, you can, you can control the event, but you can't control the outcome, right? And
No.
that's what I mean. Like even yesterday, right? I mean, perfect thing. We had 37 people supposed to come to this thing, and then we got snow, right? And a couple of my cousins live in group homes, and they were supposed to come with aides, and they were invited, right? We were invited. Everybody was invited, and they were supposed to come with aides. And my brother, who's older, doesn't like to drive, and he was supposed to come, and people didn't show up because of the weather, right? And one of the persons I wanted to show up was my brother, and I was really disappointed when he called me like, hey, we just hit, the roads are bad, we're not coming. So I have to be, something, I did a lot of work on this thing. Whoever was there, we're going to enjoy it, and we did. We had a great time. So it's really about that, because like you said, it's cascading. One thing leads to another.
Yeah.
So, and that's the dangerous point, because it'll lead me, if I don't pay attention to it, it will eventually lead me to a drink. And that's the truth for this alcoholic.
My boy, Bill, from the Sober, Not Mature podcast, sent me some emails about, hey, you guys try to pull yourself back from going off on tangents? You should go off on the tangents. I really like that. So this has been top of mind. So, Bill, this is for you.
Bill's probably talking about... He's probably talking about me, but go ahead.
No, I go off on tangents too, but this is a good tangent, and this also ties into control. Oh, I gotta stay true to the topic. Don't go off on the tangent. That's trying to control the outcome.
Right.
But the tangent is important, and Bill's right with this when he sent me some emails, and we're going back and forth. The tangent is important here because sometimes it's not about the control. The control is what starts it, and then it's a cascading series of events that get you off track.
Right.
The snow here, if you're not in the Northeast, the snow here over the weekend has been pissy, is the best way I can describe it. I'm looking out the window right now. It's snowing, but this isn't going to amount to like 6 inches of snow. It's going to amount to maybe another inch. And the snow that we've had has been an inch at bursts. So ground is covered, but it's not crazy. But it is enough to be annoying and to cause problems with driving. For it to be bad enough that I don't want to go out on the roads. When you have older people, especially, this becomes an issue because driving isn't the same.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't see these people very often. And I think the thing that works with me is letting go that, hey, I can't control this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they shouldn't come because it's not safe for them. If they're not feeling safe in this pissy snow that's enough just to be a nuisance and nothing else, then this is actually a good thing. And kind of being open to the experience I'm going to have will be different.
Yeah. It's exactly right. I mean, it's exactly right. Like, the people who stayed home should have stayed home. Mm-hmm. There's no question about it. And comes back to the point, is that if I'm focused on this event, and again, this could be on anything. If I'm focused on the outcome of this event and then it doesn't work exactly, and like I said, my brother was one of the big for many reasons, which I won't go on a tangent about, which I understand. And Bill, like you said, Bill is correct that sometimes we can do that, or I can do that. But if I'm going to let my brother not showing up this is my whole point. If I'm going to let my brother not showing up ruin everything, then my focus is wrong. Mm-hmm. And again, these are dangerous things for me because I'm an alcoholic. For most people, they're like, oh yeah, just deal with it, whatever, go to therapy. For me, for this alcoholic, they're dangerous because they make me anxious, they make me resentful, they make me irritable, and all of those things lead me to first think that my life is a piece of shit. Really. Yep. That's why I brought Timmy into it, right? They lead me to think that this great life that I have, this great life that my sobriety has given me, is somehow shitty and not worth it, right? That's the first thing that happens. And if I let that simmer too much, then one of my solutions is to drink.
Yep.
To make myself feel better. That's why it's important. And that's why maybe some of these little tangents that we're talking about with family and reunions may not seem like they fit into the conversation, but they do. And then, like you said, you throw on into it that all these people, first thing they did is walk in and went to a bar, and I'm standing there, right? I mean, it's a perfect storm for an alcoholic to have a relapse. And the relapse might not come yesterday or today or tomorrow. The relapse might come in 2 weeks. I mean, that's the danger. That's when the relapse might come. It might come at that unexpected moment.
Yes. We snap.
Right? Right. That unexpected moment that all of a sudden you hear about it like, you know something? I was driving down the street and I pulled into the package store and I went in and I bought myself a bottle and I have no idea why I did that. Well, you did that. You may have done that because 2 or 3 weeks ago something started that cascading. That's what I guard against. I mean it. I still guard against that today. And that's what I worry about when I get in those situations. So it's an ongoing thing. For me, it's going to be a lifelong process until it's not, I guess. Maybe one day I'll wake up and go, oh, I'm glad that's over with. But I don't know if that's going to be the case for me.
It's not going to be the case for me. I'm never going to get over it because I'm in recovery.
Yeah.
But the foundation there is I'm an alcoholic. I have addiction issues. So it's like obesity. I'm on a GLP-1 drug. Here's a control issue that I am down at my most. I was at 294 pounds. I'm now at 228 pounds, and I have been vacillating for the better part of a month between 225 and 228. Depending on the day, that's where I am. But I'm really struggling to push past that. But I'm also not going up. It's probably worth celebrating at this point. All right, I've hit a plateau, but that's also a lot of weight. But I can only think through I'm failing.
Right.
I'm failing. Now, there have been a lot of circumstances that have stopped me. I had my stitches out. I now can go to the gym. There were the holidays. There has been stress in my life. I haven't slept well. Those are all problems, but I can get back on track. This is something I will deal with all my life, and being on a GLP-1 drug has helped. I'm going to have to be on that GLP-1 drug for life, and maybe I have hit the point where it's time to go up a dose to get a stronger dose. I'm at that next to last level, and maybe this is the time to talk to the doctor and say, okay, hit the plateau, let's go to that final dose. That's what's going to get me over the hump.
There.
But I'm hesitant to do that because it's like there's that one weapon that I haven't used yet.
Right.
I don't want to use the last weapon because I don't want to, what if it doesn't work?
Right.
But it is, I hear that like, Tim, I still hate my life. And I think about you have a better living room than I have. You have this beautiful living room, beautiful house. What I look at better than my house. Tim started gardening after I did. Right. He's got a better garden experience than I do. He went even higher on the hog than I did. And I think about all those things that you and Tim have that I don't, and like, damn, you guys are miserable. I would love to have that.
Right.
And I think it's around be happy with what you have. You can't necessarily, if this doesn't work, the whole, well, somebody else has it worse, so be grateful for what you have. That doesn't work. I think it's just be grateful for what you have, period. There is something that what you've accomplished still is good. No matter where it is, don't compare. And it reminds me of I have these houses up the street from me where they built in this old Christmas tree farm where they have these McMansions. And I am sure that these people whose houses are probably closer to $1 million if they sold today and have 3-car garages are miserable about something. And I'm like, these guys have nothing to be miserable about. They have so much more than me. And I bet they have misery, and maybe their misery is worse than mine. And it's not about all those things you have or don't have. It's in many ways the here and now, and being okay with I'm looking for a certain outcome. Maybe that outcome's wrong. Maybe the outcome yesterday for it's going to be bad unless my brother can show up takes you away from, well, who else is here that I wouldn't be cognizant of that I can now enjoy?
Yeah, there were people there, right?
Yeah.
You know, I have a cousin. We recently listed up. There's 32 first cousins, just so you know, right? And I won't go on a long tangent, but there's 32. So we literally listed all of us. So we all have a number, like where we fall in that line. And the number one cousin is still alive and lives in Georgia. And he came up. We don't see him often, right? The oldest cousin. So there were people there. That was great. But you were saying something there, and again, this is why we do this. And I'm not a list person, right? You talk to people, they write lists, they write gratitude lists, they write this list, they write that list. But you said something there about the McMansions. I know exactly what you're talking about too. The answer to this, and again, there are answers to this, and I'm sure people might suggest them on the email or on the website, and that is being grateful for what I had. I've heard that definition, that gratitude is being happy with what you have, right? It's being happy for what you already have. So maybe the answer is to do a gratitude list, right? It's just not what I do, but sitting here, I'm like, I bet you if I wrote a gratitude list every day, I would feel better. And that's the truth. I would feel better. I'd be able to look at these things that I love about my life and go, you know something? Yeah, this is really shitty right now. And shitty, when I say something's shitty, I only mean in my head, right?
Yeah.
I mean that. I don't mean in actuality. I don't mean like, oh, this is shitty because so-and-so's dying. I mean, this is shitty because in my head I think it is.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about here. So, having that moment to write that gratitude list, or the other thing, again, one of the things we talked about in my Friday night meeting was pick up the goddamn phone and call somebody.
Yes.
Right? Pick up the phone and call somebody. Right? And then that's the other thing that happens and that I don't do enough of, that when I get in these situations. And yesterday wasn't a good day to do that because there just wasn't a time frame that I really had an opportunity when I was in the thick of all this stuff to do it. But so there are solutions out there too for those listening. There are
simple solutions.
And they are simple solutions. They are. You know, sitting down. Listen, I'm sitting in an office that has a door I can close, that has a desk, and I could sit here and write a gratitude list via a keyboard or a pencil and paper. And I have a telephone sitting here that I could pick up and call somebody, and it wouldn't be a problem at all. And our buddy Tim said that too. He said Tim was rolling Friday night, and he says, you know, he said, and this is the truth. He says, you know, I hear people saying it's so hard to call people, and he goes, no, it's not. It's not hard to dial the phone. He goes, I used to make those excuses too. He goes, you pick up the phone, you dial it. And that's the truth, right? That's the truth.
I don't agree with him. He's right in the literal sense. In the emotional sense.
Right.
Of going through that process of, I'm going to call somebody and I'm afraid I'm bothering them, that they're going to judge me, that I'm silly. Those are the things. That actually is a great exercise of dialing somebody is hard for me, and get out a piece of paper and say, why?
Yeah.
What is it? And write down the things that are not hard. Actually holding the phone and dialing the numbers. Not hard. What is hard then? And write out what I'm feeling about why it's hard. And you'll be surprised. They're not going to pick up. They're going to laugh at me. They're going to say, I don't have time for this bullshit today. All of those things, that rejection, that is hard. And although it's a remote possibility, it's a possibility. Not realistic, but it's a possibility. And then maybe write out, if I call somebody, what good might happen. What good might happen is they might have some of the same feelings, or I might be catching them at a time where it's like, I'm glad you called, or, hey, I haven't talked to you, Tim, in a long time. I'm excited to talk to you. I'm honored that you have a problem and you wanted to talk to me. Now that changes it, and that phone emotionally becomes easier to call, pick up and connect a call to. I have started, I use Claude for this because Claude AI is really good at being personable. And if you set it up in the right way, it will challenge you, unlike ChatGPT, which tells you every answer you have is the best thing since sliced bread. Kisses your ass. Claude doesn't do that if you set it up the right way. You could set up a chat bot with like your personality and your issues and like, here's the background, and then build upon it. And you can ask it some things. I'm feeling this way. Help me walk through the process, and it will guide you, and it won't bullshit you. Because I did that yesterday with an issue, and it told me, stop. You are wrong in how you're thinking, and here's why. These are, and I say it's not this be all end all, but things like that as an example could be a problem solving outlet of just a brain dump that is like writing it all down on a piece of paper, then the paper responding back to you, helping you understand things. All helpful things. The chatbot is nice because if I have something embarrassing, I'm not telling a real person.
Right.
And I'm able to get that out of my head and realizing, this isn't as silly as I thought.
You know, just one thing before we close here, because we're running out to the end. That's an absolutely fantastic idea. Mm-hmm. Doing this, put down a list of why am I afraid to call? What's stopping me from calling? Good, and then good things and bad things. And one of the persons who started sharing this, the person who is sharing this is someone who's asked me to take them through the steps again. They've already been through the steps, but they want to go through them again. And they're the one who shared that they have trouble calling because we don't talk to each other. I don't call that much. And it's a perfect way to put together a program and say, hey, let's sit down and do this together. Like, what is it that stops people from calling? So thanks for that. Thanks for that suggestion. I think that's a great suggestion.
That'll be my Substack this week. I'm inspired to actually write something this week.
Yeah.
It'll be different from the podcast. I can just get to that, and it actually will be emotional sobriety for me. And hey, the Substack I shouldn't say at. No, the Substack is soberfriendspod.com. You can also email Matt at soberfriendspod or on all the socials. There are ways to get a hold of us. We love the feedback, and we will put it on the podcast. All right, Steve, I hope you feel better. Hope this was good therapy for you.
I feel. Listen, I honestly feel better already, just because we've had a half an hour to sort of hash it out, and that's what we do. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome, and we'll see everybody next week. Bye, everybody.